Hey, Clay County, it's me, Sheriff Darrell Daniels, again with our next segment of Did You Know? Today, joining me from the Sheriff's Net, for those of you who don't know what Sheriff's Net is an acronym for Sheriff's Neighborhood Engagement Team, are two members from the best zone, so I heard. We'll let them talk about it. It's Miss Lori and Stephanie, and we'll let them talk a little bit about what their role is with the Sheriff's Net. You know, when we started it, I had a thought to have a forum where citizens could come together, just everyday citizens, the best of our community, coming together and interacting with law enforcement to share their concerns with us so that we as law enforcement enhanced our footprint out in the community, which is actually the real stakeholders in law enforcement, and they could be the eyes and ears and true partners and friends of law enforcement through the Sheriff's Net. So with that, I will let Stephanie and Lori talk a little bit about what they do in Sheriff's Net.
Okay. Well, Lori and I are the chair ladies of Zone 2 in the Clay County Sheriff's Net, which means that we direct what content is fed to our community in terms of monthly planning for each zone meeting that we hold. Lori and I work closely with the chief who is assigned to our zone, as well as the deputy, and we determine the monthly meetings that the community is seeking, the information that the community wants to hear about, and we choose a speaker each month to provide information to the individuals in Zone 2.
Or an event.
Or an event, correct.
We had a fantastic turnout in July. We did a kids fair, kids safety fair, and we had over 300 people come. So we were very proud of that as well.
What we do is we have a chief that comes to our zone every month for our monthly meeting. He gives us a report on what crime statistics are happening within our community. So it's important for us to know what matters to Zone 2. It's very much community police collaboration. We want to know what's happening in Zone 2, not what's happening in all of Clay County per se, because it doesn't apply to Zone 2. So we want to know what we need to be aware of and how to be a smarter, safer community for our individuals. So the chief will come to our community meeting. He'll report on what statistics have happened, 911 calls, DUI arrests, things that are happening that pertain to us, specific crimes that we need to be aware of. The community is then given a platform to speak directly to a deputy or a chief to voice any of the concerns they may have specific to their neighborhood. It's essentially a community crime watch with new statistics, new information, up to date with what today's technology can do. And so it allows our community to feel more engaged, to feel partnered with the Sheriff's Department, and to get information that directly pertains to what they need to know today.
And so the citizens across this county understand that the Sheriff's Net is comprised of 6 different zones. So there's 6 separate Sheriff's Nets that create the whole Sheriff's Net. And you know, the people in Green Cove Springs, as much as we love them, they're not concerned about what's happening in Orange Park. And we love the folks in Orange Park, but they don't care what's happening in Oakleaf. They may overall want to know what's happening in Clay County, but people are really more concerned about what's happening in their neighborhoods. And that's why the Sheriff's Net has been broken down into 6 smaller pieces so that, you know, the areas, the geographical areas of certain neighborhoods are kept separate from others, but they all comprise the overall Sheriff's Net. And so the things that are brought forth from the citizens of Sheriff's Net are then turned into actionable tasks for law enforcement to follow up on. And in a perfect world, we solve crimes, we gather intel based on the input from those complaints that we receive from Sheriff's Net members, and we follow up with them by letting them know what happened. Tell you, ladies, you know, a lot of people, you know, they talk about things that are going on in their communities, and people never really make themselves part of the solution. They may not necessarily be part of the problem, but they don't do anything to become a part of the solution. And like we were talking off screen, you know, Sheriff's Net is a way for people to be part of the solution and, you know, not part of the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it also gives you a direct connection to the Sheriff's Department. You're assigned a chief, you're assigned a deputy, and you can speak to the same individual every month to voice your concerns and have an answer when you come back next month. That person is accountable to you They will come back. If you give them a address or a date, they'll come back to you with a response to what your concern was, or a follow-up to an arrest that you know may have been made, and tell you what the conclusion was. And I think that that's great to know that you actually have a partner in the sheriff's department. You become an active collaborator.
Yeah.
And that matters.
You know, we were talking about auto burglaries and how people leave their vehicles unlocked, and I don't know, Lori, what are your thoughts on that?
I am a real stickler for the 9 p.m. routine. I think it's very important, and oftentimes you will hear people say, oh, well, I didn't call, they just touched the handle. That's the most important time that you call, because there could be information leading from one attempted robbery to an actual robbery. It's also important to call CCSO so they are aware, but also your call helps determine what their staff is
Sure.
in our area. So if we have an outbreak of cars being broken into or attempted, then definitely make the call. I'm a stickler for it. So
You raise an interesting point about, I could call it push and pull, and you know, the staffing levels across this county in terms of patrol deputies is based largely upon calls for service. And if there are incidences happening in a certain zone that aren't being reported, then, you know, because we're not made aware of it, then we don't staff properly. So you raise a very good point there.
And I think it's worth saying that you don't have to call 911 and expect someone guns blazing, full lights and sirens. You can report something on the non-emergency number and have a deputy come out and just investigate what you have to tell them. The non-emergency number is on the website, and that allows you to let the community know what's happening, have it on record, and perhaps it's a piece of a puzzle that you're not even aware of, that we can now use that contact as what may solve something bigger that happened later that evening, or just the piece of information is worth reporting so that everyone is aware of what happened and can now have that documented in writing.
Absolutely. And lastly, the Sheriff's Net has their own Facebook page.
Yes, we do.
What's that page titled?
it's Clay County Sheriff's Net. And you can go there and you can request to join. We do ask that you are within the areas of one of the zones to join. You are welcome to come to a meeting and see what it's all about. But we do ask after the first meeting that you fill out an application. So you get a small background check, and you get a t-shirt, and then you get a badge, and you're set. And then you join us and you help make the difference in keeping our community safe. We also do neighborhood walks, which are engaging the people within our neighborhood. So.
Sure.
In different areas.
And if you go on that Facebook page, it tells you the content of the upcoming meeting. The content that we choose, it's specifically in Zone 2, I can speak to for myself. The content that we choose is directly driven by the need and the want of the community. We have done CPR, we've done Stop the Bleed, we've done car that's been in a drunk driving incident in collaboration with Florida Highway Patrol. They bring out the vehicle, and we do that right before prom season. We invite parents of teenagers to come out and to see the vehicle and to see the reality of distracted and impaired driving. So all of the content is posted there on the Facebook page. It tells you what meeting is coming up next, what's going to be delivered in terms of a training. We've done active shooter scenarios, self-defense for men and women, all different things that actually give you a takeaway and an education, in addition to your crime statistics for your local community and your opportunity to collaborate with a deputy.
Very nice. Again, thank you, ladies, for participating. Thank you for what you do for Sheriff's Net and for volunteering as members of the community. Thank you again, Clay County.